Yes, or can you hear me?
So I'm on the Zoom call on my phone.
Weird.
Weird. I don't understand why it would be any different than all the other
Zoom
times, right?
updated its policies, and that's why. It's now Zoom something.
But in just finding the link that I typically copy and paste and put in a
Yes,
browser,
yes, I did the
it's
same
just
thing.
not, there's no,
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm sure that Sandy and Janet are having the same issue.
weird.
So we're gonna keep rolling. Okay, and then Rosie's coming in too, so we'll see what they all have. But the text I sent you worked?
Yeah, that's how I got onto the phone.
Okay,
I prefer the computer.
okay,
Oh,
yeah. Zoom is updating its stuff, so you might need to come in on your phone.
let's see. So here you've sent it to. Let me try it on the.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is looking better on the computer. Okay, it looks like I'll be going to computer.
Oh, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
Huh, I hear you.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay.
Wow, this is
Hi.
all of us we're all gonna just get through our issues.
I'm gonna go out of the phone and hopefully show up on the computer.
Okay. Okay. So Janet Mills is trying to get in. Sandy's in. Yay. Okay.
Why aren't they able to get in?
We have no idea. So
Oh,
all sorts of things. So I've been texting everyone. So Danny will jump in and Janet will jump in, but also if you noticed the link that we got, it also says Zoom 1. So they are
I don't know what that means.
updating. Huh?
I don't know what that means.
It just means that Zoom is changing its own stuff. So
Yeah, I updated.
yes, we all had to update. So Janet Mills is managing her update right now, panicking. Thank you,
Well,
Zoom.
yeah, Zoom doesn't let you know you need to.
It doesn't let anyone on earth know that. Neither does, neither do any of them.
So I always just go to check.
Yes. Well, good morning, everyone. We are recording. So Zoom has recorded the fact that we are annoyed with them, I guess.
Yes, but I can edit that out.
But great. Well, so and I feel like I get a double because I get both of you in another group too. So like I feel like I have you all to myself.
Right.
Like
I forgot my coffee. I'm just gonna.
Oh, get it.
Already.
Okay, Sandy Cleland. We get you all to ourselves. Okay, it's gonna be 50 degrees today. Is your phone just ringing off the hook? No? Okay, gotta unmute. Oh yeah.
No, not really.
Okay, it's coming.
I mean, I got a big list of people that are supposed to do stuff this year, but they're all dragging their feet. But actually, so last night I did get a call from a lender that I work with, and she referred somebody to me. And then I was at a listing appointment last night, and they're hoping to list around the beginning of March. And they were referred by a friend. So I think it's going to be a good year,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's all going to hit at once, on April 1st. That's how it always was in the old days. January, February, March. Oh, everybody's ready to go now. But
Right.
But I know, and I think generally it is not busy right now because I can tell from my front desk. They're always sitting there twiddling their thumbs. The
Oh.
women at the front desk that put in the new listings, they're
Yeah.
like, they have nothing to do. So they're like, do you have any projects for us?
Oh, lucky them, you do. Lucky them.
Oh, I'm
Did-
sure it'll be a good year.
Did you ask them about their video editing options? Maybe they can just turn all your things into a TikTok.
Oh, yeah, one of them might. She said that she's addicted to TikTok. She watches the videos, but she doesn't ever make any. She just watches them. She
Right.
just turned 24.
Yeah, but we love new stuff, right? We
Yeah.
love new.
That would be
we love
fun.
it. Well, good. And Donna, how is the creative space without having it be an office?
Well, the really good view is back here.
Look at all
Okay.
that life.
Yeah, I
There's
have a
plants.
standing table. Put up the window area. So
Yeah.
this back behind me is that's the wall of it. So anyway, I'm just trying to I can't find any way to make it go away. So I'm just gonna turn. Uh it's
Yeah. I love it.
it's going really well. And then like the right in front of my desk I have um
What is this magic box?
say it again.
Is there a magic box there? We see
Oh,
the
that's
plant.
just I was putting the computer up on that.
Oh, got it.
So
Yeah, they're beautiful.
but I've got my plants right in front of my desk and I really like that.
Yeah, creativity, life. We're gonna just let all that feng shui come in.
Nikki, I recopied the link for Zoom over here in chat.
Uh-huh.
If you want to send that to somebody, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I sent it already
Okay, is this the
because
same?
Donna got in on the text that you gave me.
Yeah, well, this is it. Ah, Danny entered the room.
Yeah, see, it's working. It's working.
Hey.
I gave him
Yeah.
all the thing. So we're gonna get to see Danny too, because I think she's just bringing her daughter to school.
Oh,
So we're gonna
she's-
get Danny and we're gonna get Janet still, but Janet's figuring out her tech stuff. So
Mickey, you've changed your hair recently.
I have new hair,
It's very nice. Lovely.
very new. It's gonna be changing again. So, we've got new things coming.
There's Danny.
And there's the star. There's the star we haven't heard from in a long time. Welcome back.
Hello, Danny.
Hi. Okay, well, we've been talking about nothing because everyone's been having trouble getting into Zoom. So you are right
Yeah.
on time.
Yes.
Oh,
Ah.
okay, good, because I can't actually see any of you.
Oh, you can't. Oh, we can see you. You look adorable.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't see anybody.
Oh,
It's just like,
Wow. Just black. And well, let's hope we get that fixed by the time the slides come up. Okay. Well, Karen Karsten, give us your update. Everyone is actually probably here to see you more than they're here to see
Uh-huh.
me.
that's the truth.
That's
My
the truth.
goodness.
Well, I'm surviving. Life is very different.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff to do. Just the whole thing about him being gone and paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the big like schism of like, wait, I mean, it's kind of like the last thing you want to be doing right now.
Yeah.
And yet, yeah. Oh,
It
really
happens.
thinking of you.
Yeah. Well, we've been together for 35 years and spent most of that time, actually together and doing, the daily things that you do that were actually just a little ritual with two of us, like, having coffee right away in the morning and reading the weather on the iPad and just little things that are part of my daily life that aren't now. So it's just figuring out how to structure my day and what I am willing to spend my energy on, because I do get very tired still. So, and it was a surprise. I mean, I know he's been sick for a long time, but he didn't die of that. He died of a blocked bowel, and it came on suddenly, and they couldn't do anything about it. And so we were planning for his chemo to start that Thursday, and then this happened instead, and
Wow.
it was like incredible, like 4 days, and that's it. But
Wow.
his 3 sons were here, and they stayed after he died. They stayed and helped, so that was really great. And we had a wonderful Christmas this year.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, because his son Dave rented an Airbnb not too far from us, and brought all 3 of his children, and our other 2 grandsons from the other son. So they were all in this house together for a few days, and they all live in California. So we didn't even have any snow for them. How about that?
Right. Right.
So it was great, wasn't it, Vicki?
It was the Christmas that was only for that one time. You know what I mean? Like it was just fabulous. It was just
Yeah.
fabulous. It was just
And
fabulous.
we didn't know it was going to be the last one, but it was a great one.
And the other thing that's fun about having the Airbnb where people can kind of hang out is you can cook.
Yes.
Oh, yes, she did.
And my highlight for those of you who ever bake, Donna, you may know this, but she had never heard of King Arthur flour, and she just couldn't believe that there was this thing called King Arthur flour. And so she made this cake that she always makes, and all the kids are like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, this is like the best cake ever." And she's like, "It's this weird flour that I got." And I'm like,
which I now have because she bought it, I don't know,
Right.
10-pound bag or something like that.
so everybody got a gift that they can
Nice.
take with them right from that moment. And yeah, it was great. Kids grow up so fast, you don't get to really see them in that setting of we're all just hanging out.
Yeah.
And we're all just hanging out, and we can like sit at the table. Like, I know that Donna, your family had pancakes so for everyone all the time, right?
Yeah.
There's just something about sitting at the table.
Yeah.
And at Danny's house, they all sit at the table, right? That they
Nice.
all, they make pizzas or whatever. But there's something about just sitting at the table goofing around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
and
best.
they're all teenagers now, so
Yeah. And
Yes.
I do like a table of teenagers. Especially when they are playing a game. That doesn't have to be, it can be any game. You can put any game of stupidity on the table and they will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
fun.
it's fun. It's fun. All right. Well, Sandy Cleland, that's a tough act to follow. Give us your update. How are things in general? Danny hasn't seen you for months.
Hi, Danny. Hi, Karen.
Oh, she's frozen. She's figuring it out.
Karen, I just wanted to tell you how sorry I am, and thank you for sharing with us today.
Yeah.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
being
that.
here.
I'm glad that you had a good Christmas and good memories. So things are going well. It's not that busy, but it's okay because I'm going to Costa Rica on Sunday. So if I did have like
Ooh.
tons of stuff going on, that would be even more stressful for me.
Wow.
So anyway, I've been busy getting ready for the Costa Rica trip. It's going to be a rejuvenation, retreat, mostly
Oh.
women. So Teresa Thomas with Win Networking, she put the retreat together. And though there's one guy coming, so I was kind of interested about like, who is this guy? So we had a little Zoom meeting on Saturday to meet each other. And so I know Teresa and I know one other gal in the group, but I'm like, well, do we get to know who our roommates are? And she said, well, you've got a private room. And then she said, it sounds like most of us have a private room, except 2 people have roommates. I mean, there's 4 people, I guess, that have roommates. And then she said, and Jeff and I just started dating, so we're sharing a room too. So, so she announced her that this guy was her new boyfriend. So that was kind of cool. The one guy that's coming, oh, he's with Teresa. Okay, well, I get it.
Right.
So business, I'm just working on all the things, you know, we just had the buyer seminar a couple weeks ago. That was really good. And then we're going to do another bridal table at the bridal fair at the end of February. And then we got 2 more buyer seminars in April. We're going to do a pie day on March 14th for pizza.
Oh, good.
And I haven't scheduled it or done anything about it, but you know, should be pretty simple. I'm gonna have people come and pick up their pizza, whoever wants to. But yeah, I got a big list of people and that are supposed to do something this year. And some of it, as I go through the list, they're like, yeah, we're not gonna do it till next year, or you know, or we ended up working with another realtor or whatever, but it's all good.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Working away.
Yes, well, in blockchain, we celebrate Pi Day very differently. We have
Yeah.
we have a big event because that is what Pi Day came from, is that you could order a pizza with blockchain. So
Okay.
Oh,
that is the reason we have Pi Day. Was
Wow.
just so you know, that's a pizza pie, right? But that is why we have it, is that it is the first time that we could use non-fiat money to buy a pizza. So there's the jam. So so
Interesting.
I'll be at Frankie's Pizza. So if you're looking for a pizza sponsor, you know, Frankie's is it in New Hope, and he's a good friend to the community. He does a lot of work. And Sandy, I can send you his direct contact information. He's such a good guy. His name and number is on my desk because he just bought Morrissey's bar, the
Oh.
Irish pub too. So
Is that also up in New Hope?
no, Morrissey's is right in Uptown.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So but
Okay.
anyway, yes, I'll send you this picture while
Okay.
we're hearing about Donna's good news.
All right.
well, my good news is I signed up for this wonderful class called the 12-week year.
Yes.
And this has been a really fortuitous, I mean, you even told me about it last year, but anyway, the timing's perfect and
But you're ready now.
ready now. Yep. And I put a alarm on my calendar at 8:45 this morning to fall in love. I'm going to fall in love, back in love with my business. So it's really fun to be open to that idea even. And like, okay, maybe the time is right. And so I don't have a lot to say other than you know, it yeah, some of the pieces the groundwork seems to be going in to get back on the saddle.
Yeah.
I did learn with my that term back on the saddle. I did learn something about it during the pandemic with my day job, which was when we finally got to go back into the office and I got to get my groove back. It was like getting back in the saddle was the hardest part. Once you get into the saddle, then it's just like,
You can ride.
hold on.
Yeah, totally.
So
Totally.
truly, I just need to get in the groove. And then some things will kind of be one foot in front of the other, especially with the accountability piece going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're doing a great job. I mean, a great job. You're both doing a great job. I mean, it's just lots going on. Okay, Sandy, I did send you that text.
Got it.
Danny Dixon, give us your update.
Well, it's been a really long time. So I was working in Hennepin Healthcare. That temporary position ended. I have been last couple weeks really focusing on the project I really want to start, which is a thrift store for art supplies only.
Mhm.
A 501c3 to really help the community, especially in the beginning of the school year. School supplies is expensive. And I really don't think that students should go to school without the things they need. I don't think that's fair. Um, I- it's really, I have printed out, what is it, the 1028B, the 501c3 form that takes 100 hours to fill out. And yeah, it probably does actually take 100 hours to fill out.
Yep, it does.
And in between being really frustrated with that form and wanting to burn it, I write really silly rules for the store. Like, I'm not going to accept your glitter. It has to be contained. A plastic bag is not contained, by the way.
Right.
Like, if you bring me glitter, please let it be sealed. Another thing is I'm working with a friend who's really good with mushroom growing. Kind of started out as a illicit hobby. But now they've gotten into other mushrooms, and so I'm trying to figure out a way for mushrooms to eat glitter, actually, because I hate glitter.
Okay, well, that's a very interesting piece because I think mushrooms can eat glitter.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
figuring out that you need just the right amount of actual organic material, and then it will start to just eat the inorganic material.
Right, right. But
You won't be able to eat those mushrooms, but they will get rid of the microplastics. So
right,
that's exciting.
and that can lead to something bigger.
Yeah.
Danny has a hobby of microplastic review, just so you know.
I do.
She likes to know all of the things around groundwater and plants that heal and things
Did
like
I
that.
send you my latest obsession? I found out.
Oh, of the water treatment?
But-
Yes.
Yeah, the super collider, using the super collider to break down the microplastics.
Yeah.
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 I-
For those of you who don't know, the Super Collider is this huge machine that is incredibly impossible to run, but they did it to try to break atoms apart. But they can also use that for water filtration to take out all of the microplastics that are in our water that are called permanent chemicals that are within us that we can't get rid of. So yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
CERN is the one that's most famous. They're out in Switzerland. They're the ones that are working on getting nuclear waste out of water with their super collider.
Yeah.
But the one in
So-
Chicago, or just outside of Chicago, is working on microplastics.
Right. So, and if you haven't learned anything about the Super Collider, it's worth looking up as just a random weird science geek thing. People who are into space love it. So there are lots of applications in your party situation to be like, have you had any time with the Super Collider?
I was super lucky in 2022 when I went to visit my cousin in England, because her husband is a particle physicist.
Oh, great.
And he's been to CERN several times. And so he and I had this huge long conversation where we got really excited about microplastics and nuclear waste and how the super collider could work.
How to fix it, sure.
And he went really like super sciencey, and she was like, "You understand that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. And she was like, "I live with him and I don't get it." And I was like,
Yeah. If you're a science geek, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We can all thank the magic school bus for that.
"Yes, yes, we can."
This is the impact of Miss Frizzle. I was just watching an interview with LeVar Burton, and they were talking about like what what were the things that he was the most proud of in his career. And he was telling, like he should have been, like everybody expects him to say roots.
Mhm.
He said, but my mother was a teacher. So like having multiple generations grow up with reading Rainbow, he's like, that is the epitaph on my tombstone is
Yes.
going to be reading Rainbow. And
Perfect.
Okay. Well,
I love
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That
If we
is
could
how I know LeVar Burton, by the way.
Yeah.
Everyone's like Roots or Star Trek and I'm like,
No, it's reading Rainbow. So if I
that is
could
the
just
Rainbow
have
guy.
him and Miss Frizzle in an embrace, that would be like the best sticker ever.
Right. I have so I'm a Girl Scout leader, troop leader now for Ellis Troop.
Yeah,
And I have my own vest, which I was psyched to get a Girl Scout vest again.
for sure.
And I immediately put Miss Frizzle on my Girl Scout vest.
For sure.
So I have the take chances, make mistakes, get messy. And then right next to it, it says, after this, we're getting tacos.
After this, we're getting tacos, right? The story of your life, right?
Yeah.
After this, we're getting tacos. Well, that's great. I love the thrift store idea. I love that it's there. Again, I'm going to say it also can be a pop-up, right? You can still start that by just getting started and having a drop off. That's a great Girl Scout troop idea. It's a great Girl Scout troop ability to do that. And you can actually do that as a Girl Scout activity because Girl Scouts is a nonprofit. So if you just do it with your troop, they can take it on as a project. So what I'm saying is that start it in some fashion and then you can branch it off.
So another thing I thought about was just renting a storage unit.
Yep.
And starting it online.
Sure.
And just kind of starting it from there. I know it's a little chaotic, my board of this project, because there's a lot of things that I'm like, oh, I could do this, or oh, I could do this, and I need to narrow it down
Yeah.
a little bit.
So Julie Kearns is who you want to talk to on that. So she did a lot of work with Project Elf, but she understands all the shipping, all the stuff, and she owns Junket. So she already knows how to do all that. So of sorting and managing the smalls, because that's what it is. But there's an environmental impact statement there that'll be really great for you. But she's done all the research on it. She actually did the research on Project Elf to let us know what the impact was of those 9,000 pounds a year that didn't go into the landfill from Project Elf every year. She helped us understand the benefit in the reuse cycle of just how many things that people donated in that changed actually just the garbage heap in the city. So because we gave away a lot of stuff and we gave away a lot of art supplies and things like that, but there were a lot of things that also moved behind the scenes that we didn't actually have to haul in that storage unit. And a storage space would be also great to have in the basement of a church. So I would have looked for a partner to be able to go, how can we do that? And so anyway, but Julie Kearns is around, she's on Junket, but she's gonna have all of the tools and she also has all the stuff. So she can help you kind of figure out what the next step is because she's already done it.
Perfect.
She did it not as a nonprofit, she did it as a for-profit. And I think if you guys combine efforts, you may find that you have enough to go forward on just a simple project. But she will make your head explode.
Good.
Because she would make my head explode, and like I can take a lot, but Julie can even make my head explode. So yeah, I love it. I love it. And before I jump in, are you doing any crafts? Are you still doing acrylic? Are you pouring? What are you doing?
So I've stopped with resin, because I hated it. It
Oh.
was sticky, and then I would get these products and they'd be beautiful, but that's it.
Right.
You can't recycle it. You can't throw it away. That's it.
Right.
But I do still do soap for Valentine's Day for my daughter's school. So they get little pieces of soap.
Yep. Very cute.
And I have started watercolor,
Okay.
and I'm going to probably start making my own watercolor paint.
Oh, I love this idea.
So I was on Instagram, and one of the ladies I follow, she travels all over and she picks up sand from where she goes and she grinds it into watercolor paint.
Ooh, Donna's peaked. Donna's peaked by this because I can already see her going, oh.
I'm like, what's that Instagram account?
I will have to find
Do
it.
tell.
But she did one out of just outside of Big Bend, because you can't take sand out of National Park.
Right.
And so it's this beautiful red rock sand, and it turns into the most beautiful burnt orange color as a watercolor.
Sounds delicious.
And it doesn't take a ton to make it. And you can get the binding agent that's made out of vegetable glycerin, so it's actually your entire piece could be compostable.
I love it.
Which, I mean, you kind of want art to last forever, but at the same time, nothing lasts forever. So
I don't need a second grader's art to last forever.
Yeah.
right.
Right. All right. Well, I'm going to jump in, and we will, let's go to share screen. And you have a beautiful set of art today. So we'll hope that that works. Let's see, is it sharing? Okay, here we go. Screen sharing has paused. Hold on. Now it doesn't love me. Let's try it again, because it's so good for us to have Zoom make our life complex. There we go. It should be there now. There you go. One of the things that I love about today's class is it has a lot of good ideas in it. And even if they're not all for you, something will be here for you. So again, remember, use the superpower. One, you can always interrupt me. You can always send a message. Karen will see the message. But if you are wanting to see a screen and that has too many words on it, just take a picture of it. It's the beauty of having a camera phone, because we've got a lot to get through here today. And one is self-reflection. The second is delegation and collaboration. That's kind of your secret power, and creating a game plan and figuring out ways to sustain your passion. And I think that's going to be the largest takeaway for you, is falling in love with the right idea, falling in love with new parts of the idea. That one of the things that happen for every single person here is that you have to breathe new life into your life. That you do have to keep evolving. Even if you're doing the same thing, you're doing it differently. And so sometimes we're bored with things because we've actually outgrown the old way of doing. So when you are, and I think that's the wisdom that I want everybody to take with them today, is that many of the things, the way you used to do them, either they aren't available to do in that form, or you're going to evolve into a new way of doing things. Technology has upgraded, you have upgraded, you're not the same as you were just 3 years ago. That think about all of the things that have happened to you since the end of the pandemic, right? That the world is very different. You are very different, and you've had a lot of thoughts and ideas since then. So falling out or in love with your business is a pretty constant scenario. Donna is also in a, and so is Sandy, but I think you're in different groups. But one of the things that in Donna's group is Ty Goodwin, and Ty Goodwin has fallen in and out of love with her business at least 10 times in 15 years. So we have had to kind of reinvent her over and over again because it was based on the projects that she was interested at the time. So sometimes creating a game plan for you is really looking at how to pay attention to the energy of the things that you're in love with, and how to also have delegation and collaboration on the things that you need to stay steady so you can make a living. So when we look at collaboration, it may be keeping your day job or keeping a line of income, right? Making sure that you have this many things on your goal set. And when I look at delegation, Sandy, I think about you of, right, who puts that listing in, who does these other tasks, right? We delegate them out so that you can really focus on showing, right? Showing, listing, getting the hard parts done. But you're expanding. And you're expanding into saying, let's get new buyers, let's get young buyers, let's get some new energy in here. So you don't have to be hating your life to be able to reflect on your business differently, and to reflect on how you are, you know, and I used a cake for a real example, right? That we're going to kind of take a slice of our cake in whatever way feels delicious at the moment. And when we think about that, it's really assessing your current relationship with your business. It's recognizing the signs of disconnection and the signs of burnout. When I think about the signs of disconnection, I have another slide on it. There is, when we're feeling disconnected, I use the word agency a lot. And agency is really that availability, that I have the energy to move forward. I feel as though I have energy to move forward in something. And when we feel disconnection and burnout, it's when the agency has gone, even on really small tasks, that I'm not feeling the vibe to even, draw something. So just paying attention in recognizing those signs of disconnection and burnout. And disconnection and burnout in one area of your life will also jump the train track and disconnect you from another part of your life. So if you're feeling disconnected in your personal relationship, you're going to feel disconnected in your professional relationships. So wherever there's discontent, don't worry, it'll show up everywhere. When I think about burnout, it is, while it is technically not a medical condition, but the thing that I like about it the least is that it's the thief. It is the thief for very basic tasks that you will find it very difficult to find satisfaction. So sometimes burnout just feels like, meh, right.
Can I interject for a second?
Yes.
You're gonna love this. In Germany, burnout is a medical condition.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, you go to your doctor and you say, I just can't. I can't work at my job. And they give you 3 months of paid leave.
Oh, I love it.
Recording in progress.
I love it. So when you think about Mojo, I want you to think about it as fire energy. Mojo is the fire. It's the fire in your belly. Yum, right? Again, that internal desire to actively approach. And that internal desire to actively approach, sometimes you feel that just on a sunny day. And the lackluster feeling that we have sometimes is that inner dialogue on a lot of things. If you've ever cleaned out a closet and suddenly you feel like you're 10 feet tall, right? You just got your mojo back on that closet. Or if you went through and figured out how to fix something. That's why clutter, the concepts around clutter is so important, because you can fix something and you can get it to a finished task in a usable piece of getting clutter organized or moving in a thing and, fixing things is also a big deal. But mojo is fire energy. So if you are looking for fire energy, it is to put fire in your life. So go sit by a fire, go put some candles on, go do something that has that fire energy. That even eating fire food will make you feel that way. If you've ever sat out and just had spicy food that's so delicious, you kind of get a little bit of mojo from that. So cook on the grill, fire roasted vegetables. Oh, they're so fresh. They're so delicious. They taste so good on a tortilla. They are just great. So you can ingest that fire as well as see it or be with it, just to move that energy. And that's the feng shui kind of conversation. Falling out of love. If you are someone who's watching this, remember we have lots of people that watch this video. If you are already out of love and you just are having an identity crisis over your business, then it's really time to look at what do you want? Do you want to quit? Do you want to sell it? Do you want to switch it? Do you want to reframe it? Do you want to have more benefit? Do you want more time off? Do you need more collaboration? Is it too much of a hassle? Is the pattern not working? Do you need a partner? Do you hate your partner? Do you need to retire? Do you need to reinvent, reinvest, pivot? Some people need to go deeper, that it's too surface, it's not exciting enough. And sometimes even just a relocation is the right answer. Getting a new office is sometimes really powerful to fall in love with it again. Setting up a new office is sometimes just the relocation that you have. And sometimes it's that too much of our life has relocated itself into our office. So we have to reclaim our office. When we look at people who are not enjoying their job, that's why the first tip every single time is clean your desk. Clean your desk. Just clean your desk. And that is like a free relocation right there. It's a wonderful power tool. And when you are also thinking about what is, now here's the 25 years of my life that we can bring to you. What makes us break the bond in our love affair? And number one is lack of clarity. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm not feeling clear on it. I'm not seeing the outcome, that there is something that feels obstructed in the view. And that can be that I don't know the outcome. I don't know how to get to an outcome, or that I don't want to do a task. So lack of clarity is really a kaleidoscope of choices. But again, it's the number one. It's the number one. That lack of clarity of where am I going is for everyone. And a lot of times when I have a different sales goal for a business than they have, because traditionally mine is higher, it's because they don't believe that that is possible somewhere. That can I really make that? So the clarity sometimes is really not, do they know how to do it? Oh, those steps make great, but I don't actually believe I can do that, or I don't feel that's sustainable. So when you're looking at lack of clarity, think about what you're not clear on. This is a great journal entry. Conflicts with other people or the work itself. Many people who have licenses or very technical fields can feel in conflict with the work itself. That there also can be, there's not enough of a reward, and that reward can be an emotional paycheck or it can be a physical paycheck. It can be feeling unsupported. And as a small business owner, that feels like it a lot. That small business is sometimes being alone in the closet creating. So it's one of those things. Do you need more support? Inability, like that's why everybody comes to class, right? It's a place to be supported. It's a place to be loved on your journey. The inability to balance something. If you've ever been frustrated with trying to balance a book on your head and walk, and then somebody hands you 2 cups of water and says, okay, now balance that book with these 2 cups of water so you can't touch your book anymore. And you're like, I hate this job, right? I hate this, right? Sometimes we can't balance with everything having to balance 3 pivot points at one time. In that, the reason that that is a steadying lesson is most people cannot balance 3 pivot points at one time. So the book on the head and then 2 glasses of water for most people is really impossible to do. So there's your next party trick. That if you can do that, it's very difficult because everyone focuses on how do I make my head not fall out of whack, when actually keeping the book on your head is the easiest. Right? So the inability to balance, we will feel out of whack and want to quit anytime we have 3 pivot points that aren't matching. And the other part is just feeling like you don't have control. When things feel permanent, that I can't change it, it is totally deflating and disempowering. And it's really hard to be in love with being deflated. It's hard to feel that puffed up, yummy feeling. So when you're thinking about what makes us break our love bond, I would think about what's going on with you. Are you getting enough emotional reward, physical reward, financial reward? Are you feeling enough support? Are you liking the work itself? Are there inner conflicts? Are there conflicts around you? Sometimes the conflict is just with the technology. And this is a statement you've heard from me a lot about loving and losing. They are the same word except for one letter, but they really have 2 different paths. So we'll see this slide a little bit differently, a little bit further down the road. But there's a journal question for you, is what has been lost? What has been lost in my business? What has been lost in my relationship to this business? And sometimes that's a real positive piece. Some of you have lost your fear. Some of you have lost the feeling of accomplishment over the tiniest thing. So we sometimes lose the fact that getting that paperwork finished feels like a piece of exhilaration when I hand it in, right? There's something about handing in that paperwork that used to feel bigger when it was there. And sometimes that's because your paycheck got bigger. So anyone who's working on commission, that you used to be excited for a $600 commission, and now a $600 commission doesn't seem like it's worth much, but it's finding that now you need a $16,000 commission. And if it's not 16,000, it's not as great, right? So we just try to kind of think about what was lost. This is a big one to take a picture of. It's really looking at identifying what areas, and this is where taking a little bit of time to do an analysis of the parts of your business that you don't enjoy. It's really going to help. And by identifying what you do not enjoy and what you do enjoy. Most people have a really ready at hand list for what they're not enjoying. What they don't have is the second part, which is pinpointing those areas that you can grow in. That you go, I need to grow here, this can be improved, and that's around agency. I'm going to use my mojo energy. I'm going to bring that yummy, delicious self in and put that mojo energy in and let that bloom in that area. And when we talk about assessing the benefits of collaborating with others and how that would enhance what you're doing, sometimes it's going to take it in another direction, but sometimes it's just going to enhance the things that are already here. So it may help you develop a new line. It may help you develop a new way to talk about it. It can help a lot of things in general. Now, this is a scale of like, I like it more, I like, or I love it. Know that I am always looking to identify that sacred golden apple that you just, the magic bite. That is 100% of the time what I am looking for. What is that delicious golden apple of your business? And for some people, that is a financial piece. Sometimes it is something that we didn't even see. It could be a grand opening. It could be that you have the ability to use something. It's very interesting. When I've had this golden apple conversation probably hundreds and hundreds of times. And what surprises me more than anything is how simple it is for people to attain the juicy bite that they want, but they don't prioritize it because it seems that it can't be that simple. It can't be that simple, can it? My friend John, who wrote Fuck Work, Let's Play, that for him, the golden apple was when he actually saw it somewhere as a surprise, that he would see his book somewhere and it would surprise him. He would go, oh, that's my, it's right there. There's my book. And what happened is that he was digital nomading across the world, and he ran into somebody who puts books into stores and airports. And he just handed her one. And so there it is. And now it's in every airport that he's ever around it. And it wasn't that he made this huge piece. It was that he was sitting around at a table, digital nomading, and he happened to run into the buyer. So sometimes the world will sculpt an opportunity for you that you couldn't think of. But you have to be clear on what is that golden delicious piece. And that will change for you. That what I wanted at one time was for me to be able to do a household budget, because I couldn't do it because I didn't have enough money to actually have a real household budget. And to make a household budget that actually had enough money in it with extra, like that was a huge goal for me. Well, I outgrew my love affair with a household budget, and now I do business budgets. So you can still keep your love affair, but it will expand and it'll grow and it'll be very different. And once you learn how to do something very well, you will say, hey, I want to do this from a different angle. Now give me a new target. Now give me a new piece of constraint. Because we are creative when there is a constraint. True creation doesn't come from just outside the box. True creativity says, here's a new constraint. We're just going to put you in a different box. Now create from here. So if you've ever seen somebody who takes on the idea of an art project, maybe just like if you've ever followed the summer themes, right? Monochromatic summer. Oh, how do we create with just one color palette? So there's many ways that we will create. Or some of you may have remembered Gypsy Summer, where it started. How do we create all summer long with just the theme of gypsy or the theme of mermaid? It is to look at what we are doing. And the big love bite is, for me, in that is that I can create with my friends all summer long. So when you're looking at that golden apple, sometimes it is deliciously simple, and that doesn't mean it's not valuable. When we are talking about change, one of the other sides of the seesaw is the cost of staying the same. We often forget that staying the same costs us money. It costs us everything to stay the same. And if you don't believe me, here's one of the conversations that I have. If I said to you, wow, well, let's put 40,000 more into your business plan. And if I tell you can't spend it, you have to put it away in retirement. Would you feel different in 10 years if you had 400,000 more in your retirement account? And every single time people say, oh my gosh, 400,000 more in my retirement account, that would feel amazing. Yeah. So if you're not searching to gain, you do have a cost. There is a cost. And that cost for you may not be just money. It may be that you didn't get to learn all the new things that you wanted to. It may not be that you got to miss out on all of those relationships you didn't get to forge. Had I not been willing to take on some of these very interesting projects, I wouldn't have been able to meet some of the people that I've gotten to meet. So the cost to my life of not meeting anyone new in 5 years would be profoundly sad. And so the piece that I want you to take with you is it's really easy to stay comfortable. And people live under this weird alliance that comfortable costs you nothing. And I'm saying, no, that's not the alliance. Comfortable costs you everything new. Every new relationship, every new opportunity, every new thing that could bloom. It costs you everything. So remember that it staying the same doesn't help you. The largest conversation that's happening out in kind of the universe of media right now that I really, really appreciate is the conversation around masking and neurodivergency, and really looking at how sometimes burnout is actually the real problem for people, is that they have been prioritizing an image or a role that they are putting together a mask that people see, but they're paying an internal expense for it. So if you are someone that says, oh, I have to look like I'm big and strong and smart and all of those things out front, but inside I'm torn apart and dying, right? That is a huge part of burnout. So sometimes it is that we don't want people to know that we're slow, or that we can't spell, or, right, you hear it from me all the time. There will be a spelling error, no worries. I have a friend who was my son's preschool teacher. So I've known her since my son was 2. And she will continually send me the edits on my Facebook page. That if I put something up, she'll let me know that it's just not correct. And I used to make me feel self-conscious, and then I go, oh, they're actually just trying to help me, right? They're just trying to help me. Okay, great. Sometimes I fix them, sometimes I don't. But that's their way to just edit. And if I try to mask that I'm not a mistake maker, it makes me feel kind of garbagey. But if I just go, oh yeah, oh, hello, dyslexia. Yeah, let me do that. Because in her mind, as a dyslexic, I would want, she feels that I would want to know. And because she thinks that, and it's true, right? We all like to read things that are spelled correctly. So here we are, tasks and outcomes. When you are looking at falling back in love with your world, and you're saying, hey, I got to identify some of these areas, it's really also around the old-fashioned tasks and outcomes. What are the tasks that need to be done, and what is the outcome that you're looking for? Many of you have heard this from me a million times, but today might be the way that you hear it, which is, if you, what is the number one thing that everyone needs, every business, everyone, every time? And that is a database. 100% of the time, they need a database. If you are going to be managing online sales, you have to focus on a database. Number 2 is you have to manage your social media. And then number 3 is bookkeeping and billing. So looking at those tasks and outcomes of ways that you can say, I can fall in love with my business in this way, and I will see a reward quickly. It's in your database. So if you're going to have a sale to sell something, you need a database. If you're going to send a postcard out, you need a database. If you want to invite somebody to just come over and maybe work on Saturdays for whatever reason, you need a database. So if you're looking for one place, traditionally, when we look at a business that has been around for many years, 4% growth is the sustainability model. So if you earned 4% more than the year before, you are actually in a sustainable business. So earning 10% more in a business that is been around for a while is a big leap. And it's a leap that is great. For those of you who are just starting out, 4% isn't going to do it. You need 20 and 50 and 100 and 700% growth. But that's not the model for you as you grow year after year after year. So pick an achievable outcome that you can really do. And when you are thinking about that, it may just be something as simple as getting your taxes done. That I'm going to simply just get my taxes done. I'm going to simply put a little bit of time into keeping a promise to myself around getting my paperwork in order or my bookkeeping in order, because that's fun. When you have downtime, one of the things that I remind people about is in business, downtime is around building safety. So if you have downtime, look at the tasks that breathe safety into your life. Repairs, safety checks. That's also what I say around when you're saying bookkeeping or gathering your details together. That downtime in a business, when you have a natural downtime, it is the time to re-strategize, but it's also the time to build safety. So in downtime, we're looking at our insurance contracts. We're looking at the relationships that are here. We're looking at every contract in general, and we're building backups. I'll give you an example from someone that we all know and love that, you know, social media can get stolen. And so they had hundreds of thousands invested into social media that they can't get into. So building safety, what's a safety piece for all of your digital data? What's a safety piece of how do we do the things that we need to do? In a business, more and more of the asset of the business is in its media. That when I first started in this business 20 years ago, digital assets weren't considered a huge asset unless you're a big company like Nike or Coca-Cola, that or a beer company, that they wanted those logos to stay the same. They wanted it to be that way. And then the world got faster. And if you noticed, if you've walked past a Cheerio box in the last 5 years, or you've walked past a Snickers bar, that model has changed. That what used to be that it had to look the same all the time is not there. The brand itself has to be there. So you see Cheerios and Snickers using their font differently, but right now they put out Cheerios with the word grandpa on it, and grandma and dad and mom, to remind them to eat heart healthy. Or Snickers came out with hangry. You're just hangry. You're not yourself when you're hangry. Have a Snickers bar. So when you are looking at building safety in your brand, it is also looking at all of the assets that are there and making sure they're able to be utilized, re-strategizing, going back through and saying, here's my downtime. I'll build safety in what we have. The concept of unity. Many of you have heard me talk about this before, because we see a lot of words get hijacked, and manifestation is one of them. When people talk about manifestation, oh, I'm just going to think about it. I'm going to draw a picture of it. I'm going to align to it. And I remind people, much like the word agency, much like the word prosperity, prosperity is, right? It's the ability to magnify. Prosperity is the ability to magnify. And sometimes it magnifies stuff we don't like, and sometimes it magnifies things we do like. But a prosperous mindset is when our actions align with what we really believe. That these are the things that we have this fusion this harmony with. So when we are looking at manifestation, manifestation is actually about unity. It is co-mingling. It is this image. So this image is actually a real place on Earth. And it's in Utah, and you have to make an appointment to go there. And this has been a little, funned up, but it is really this beautiful. When you're in there, you have to make an appointment, you have to walk. These are very sacred canyons. But so you see this picture a lot because it's the sunrise, sunset time. But when you see that piece, the canyons themselves turn a color when the sun is rising or setting. So the canyon takes on a very different color. And you can see all of the things reflected in that time. So when you think about unity, and the reason I like this image is because it's also a time that there is a time when we are aligned. That's not just a thing, it's a time that when we are in harmony, as long as we are in harmony with something, we can magnify from that point. We can manifest from that. It's really, you can't be in two energies at one time. And most people are in two energies at one time. And that, right, it neutralizes it. So it does nothing. So a negative doesn't become a negative and a positive doesn't become a positive. They both turn into a neutral piece of energy. So understanding unity, if you want to have that very basic point of being able to manifest or magnify, you have to have that energy moving in unity. So really look at, do you have this intermixing where it becomes you? And if you've ever sat in a beautiful space and felt more beautiful, you have understood unity. You have understood unity. If you've ever been in a body of water and felt like the water, you understand unity, that it changes you. I had somebody just call me the other day, Donna, I thought of you, that she had gone to a water aerobics class, and she said, my whole life shifted because she could move parts of her that she hadn't been able to move in years. That she could build that unity, and now she could prosper from that point. She could magnify from that. She could have the power to manifest because she could remember what that fusion felt like, that intermixture. So unity is a big deal in what you're trying to create. Going back to effective delegation, that we have to delegate in order to grow because we can't hold all of that in one pot. So when you see me do it on stage, a lot of times I'll hold my hand out and I'll have a tray of objects, and I'll have that person just start to put all those objects in their hand, and the tray is still got all these 50 things on them, but they can't fit them in their hand. And we would go, this is why you have to delegate. And most people don't delegate because they don't want to give up the objects in their hand. And we go, no, all of these objects have to come in. You can't hold them without other people. So it's understanding that delegation is a natural part of growth because you have to pick up all the objects on the tray. And you can't do that as one person. So you have to think about, what are the objects in this hand that you want to hold? Establishing criteria for tasks that delegate, it's not easy because the first reaction is that I want to hold all of them. And usually I have some smartsy person go, oh, well, here, let me take all of the objects, put them back on the tray, and let me hold the tray. And that is called technology. That is called systems. That is criteria. That is a different type of holding tank. That is what is happening for many of you, is you're able to actually hold the tray itself a lot more with the use of technology, with things like a database, with things like sending out an email to 20 people and not handwriting a note. And then the collaboration part is strategies. How can you collaborate? And how can you collaborate again on the parts that are the weakest? It's easy to say, let me go to my strongest point and collaborate. And what you actually want is you want that mojo, you want that fire cooking in the parts that are weak, so that you can get that fire burning in the very bottom of the fire, so that the flames can leap a little higher. So think about that in the weakest areas. If your weak area is paperwork, then find a body double to help you with paperwork. If you're looking with collaboration for, I want to color or paint or do something that's creative, then find those creative people that can do that with you or for you. You hear this from me a lot, but small business is an artistic way that we build community all over the world. One of the things that many of you know, that I work a lot with something called Kiva. So I help businesses all over the world get started by giving them startup funds. Many people, that their business is their art project. This is your greatest art project. This is how you will create in the world. And owning a small business is absolutely a dream for many. We are blessed to be a blessing. We are blessed to be a blessing. But it only has to be the dream of one person, and that's you. So if it is not your dream, it doesn't matter if it's a blessing to everyone else in the world. I don't care if it's a blessing to everyone else in the world. It is the dream of one, that you have to decide what is the right dream for you. And it may have been the right dream for you 3 years ago. What's the right dream for you today? What do you have the energy? And when you're looking at the dreams that you're having right now, I would make a deal to go, I'm going to fall in love for the next 36 months. That it doesn't have to be an all or nothing, but everybody can kind of grab at 36 months. I'm going to give this idea 36 months to wiggle around in my head. And see what I think about it. And if I still like it at the end of the 36 months, or I have enough of it built, then I can either move forward or I can throw it away. So think about what's right for you now. And so I told you I was going to see this picture a couple of times. Loving and losing are just one letter apart. But again, what has been loved? What has been loved in your business? There's the journal entry of the day. What has been loved? I have loved doing these things. For many of you, it is loved putting those products into people's hands. It is loved having a different conversation. It is loved having these relationships that are very unique and divine. So it is loved that you may have found a piece of yourself. So I would look at that as a journal entry. What has been loved? Tactic 1, here we go. Date your business. For those of you who read the Artist's Way, the morning dates are really the tool. And I remind you to date your business and really ask the questions and listen to those. So sometimes it is to ask it, and I do this a lot in startups because it always challenges the mind to change the pattern of how they were thinking. So if you ask the business, how did you become a 6-figure income? And then listen, how did you get to be that? How did you get to know all of this technology? And the thing you always want to know in a date is, wow, do you have some past relationships that were kind of crummy, and are you carrying those forward? Were you wounded and hurt? Should we talk about how much therapy you did or didn't receive? That, what should we talk about all of those things? And you're looking for that because you're looking for the safe way to approach, right? Mojo is fire energy. It is the ability that we can move forward easily. When did you have the most fun? What's fulfilling? And the biggest question that you have, other than what are your hopes and dreams, but do you want to keep dating? Do you know, at the end of the date, the biggest question you want to know is, do you want to have another date? And that's the question to ask your business. Do you want to keep dating? And that's a powerful response. And a lot of times we find is that I want to keep dating, but a lot of times people will blip in and a game plan will start to form. Snap, snap, snap. It will snap in and it'll say, oh, yeah, but I would rather date in this other way. And that's where we start to see game plan form. Creating a vision is time consuming, but it's awesome. So, and it's awesome because a lot of times we can feel the feathery corners of what our vision is, but we can't see all of it. And then we get frustrated because it's just this trying to capture smoke in our fingertips. So it's really saying, let me reconnect with it. Let me see how much of it I can expose or uncover or unfurl. I can't be mad at a flower for not opening its bud before it's ready, but I can still enjoy a flower as a bud. So, you know, that feathery, beautiful tightness that's in something that's still not unfurled has its own beauty. So looking at that game plan, you're just looking to reconnect with it. That's also one of the reasons why I love flower ceremonies in general, is because there's a lot of symbiosis that you can get from understanding the blooming process of the energy that it takes just to come out of nothing and into a bud, and how you need that protective environment before you start kind of elongating. And you have to wiggle in private time quite a bit before you get to be a fully formed bud that you even see as something that can bloom later. So just because something isn't fully bloomed doesn't mean that it's not going to. So look at where you are. You're creating a vision. And sometimes that vision is about time off. Sometimes that vision isn't actually about the business itself. Sometimes it is about the outcome that you want. And if it's about the outcome that you want, that actually gives you a whole nother palette to create from. So think about what your game plan is. And I would start looking at strategies, not of how do I get my business to be this XY thing, but how can I infuse new ideas into my business on a regular basis? And just dating your business will do that. So looking at ways to implement new ideas and energy into your business. One of the things that I love about social media and TikTok is that it inspires you to be a little crazier sometimes. And it also inspires you with little bits of information that are useful. Many TikTokers have useful information. Unfortunately, many of them are trying to sell stuff now. But when people were just giving information and just trying to be a resource, it really was more powerful. So that's why DIY went crazy. That's why we love watching people do hacks and things like that. They're infusing new energy into the business of doing. So when you're thinking about what you're trying to develop as a game plan, it may be that you're just going to do something that's fun and create differently. When we look at that from a creative standpoint, I have a, what is she considered herself? She has a name for herself, I'll think of it. She wanted to create really luscious art. What is the word I'm looking for? She has a, I'll come back to that. She wanted to create something that was very, very high end, a priestess. So she said, I want to create priestess art. So she said, I have to dress as a priestess to go do that art. And so she would put on whatever priestess outfit that she felt like. So she would have beautiful silk clothes and things like that, that she would truly costume herself to create that item. So that was an implementation strategy to get that new energy into there so that she could feel it on her clothes, that she would have this beautiful meal delivered, so that she could create in that idea. She had to infuse the energy, and using outside resources to do that really helped her. And you may not need to create from a high priestess standpoint, but you might actually need to. If you are a silly like me and need something fun to do, it is hashtagging. For those of you who love to use your phone to click, 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 this is where hashtagging is great. And people who are young are hashtag friendly, and they come up with the funniest hashtags. So I would start hashtagging yourself in whatever way that it is. It is, right? I'm happy dancing with birds. That is my friend Lauren. He is going out every day to take pictures and images of birds for no one other than himself. So his hashtag is happy dancing with birds. And so sometimes it is, right, getting better at math, that I'm, weird and wild, but I would think about what is your hashtag, and I would start hashtagging yourself. And sometimes hashtagging the day is funnier than trying to process it all. Drives with spaghetti, right? It says it all. So a hashtag also is this fast way to get into the grit of what's really happening. And that is what hashtags do, is they also let you see everyone else that is having that piece. So sometimes it is, I'm just going to hashtag something and see what everyone else in the world is doing it. So sometimes it's inspirational. Sometimes it gets it out of my system. Sometimes I go down a whole rabbit hole of stuff, but it's really meant to just be a way for you to quickly, in Twitter length or less, be able to just get a statement down on a piece of paper, and just get it moving. So sometimes it's just hashtagging it for yourself. And we have Janet Mills here with us again. Hello, Janet. I'll do a quick review so you can see the previous slides. But of course, Janet Mills would show up for this slide first. Luscious. To define what is love, luscious in your journey. So when you're thinking about the strategies that you are, like the woman who was doing work as a high priestess, that you want to think about the strategies of the luscious things in your business. If there is something that feels decadent and a little over the top, you might want more of that. So luscious. Another strategy for falling back in love with it, or delegating in general, is to look at what can be removed from your business. And that is a pink love door. So just think about that as what can go through that door. You want to lovingly have it removed from your business. This isn't an angry removal, but it is to say, hey, what can I lovingly send through that door? And that pink door is critical to saying, I love this, but it's just got to move out of here. I love this, but it just has to move out of here. For those
Mickey,
of you who, yeah,
I forgot to get a picture of the previous slide.
sure. Which one? This one, luscious.
Yeah, I'm like, I was writing it down and then was like, how did
Oh,
I
here
miss
we
getting
go.
that?
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's Janet Mills. In fact, hold on. Let's give Janet a minute to think about what she was missing, because she loves those slides. She does love those slides. So we will give you just a quick review of what was here, and that we had a whole different look today. And suddenly that it doesn't know what to do with itself. But it's amazing how much we got done with today, isn't it?
that's the one I love the most.
This one is the one you love the most. Is the flowers.
That one, unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah. Burnout is a thief. Yeah. Mojo is fire energy falling out of love. And if you will notice, Donna, that these are actually all the same pictures. When I give you the topics, it's actually the same 4 pictures, but I just align them differently. So that's why you keep seeing these pink flowers pop up. A little weird item. But I will go back and review Unity so that Janet can get that as well. Dating your business.
And I'm sorry to interrupt that pink door. I love this pink door idea.
Yes.
Like it's not a trap door of like a stage, the floor falling out. It's a thank you, goodbye.
Thank you, goodbye.
Thank you, goodbye. It's just love you, right? I'm just gonna send them in that pink love door. And that pink love door, it needs to come out of your business, and it may have been something that you loved. It may be something that you want someone else to love. This is actually the best way for people to think about delegation, is to go, oh, I need you to love this now. I'm giving you a new home. I'm going to give you a new residence. But when you think about the things that can be removed from your business, it can also be moved into someone else's business. When you're a new realtor, you do staging yourself. When you're an old realtor, you'll never do it. It's time consuming. So sometimes it's just saying, look, what can I send in through the pink love door? So when you're thinking about falling in love with your business, it is that you're looking for what feels right, and that you have the agency, the ability to actively approach, right? Agency is the ability to actively approach, but you get to have that agency to stand up for what matters. And showing the pink door things is also standing up for what matters. And what matters most is your magic, and that you can still have charm and delight, and it feels compelling, and it's spellbinding, and the la luscious, right? The la luscious. We're looking for that golden apple. What do I bite into that just is transcending? The playful and surprise, you can add play and surprise into your business. One of the things that I love about some of the things that we've seen here in group was Sandy really had to look for a little spinny thing that had a prize, that it was so simple.
Oh.
But boy, does everybody love the spinny thing for a prize. And then she put prizes that weren't garbage. And that's another playful thing of, no, I actually want a good prize. And that is, I think, a fearless tactic, that you have to be a little bit fearless to say, no, I'm going to give a good prize. Because from a prosperity standpoint, you're not going to remember that somebody gave you a pencil. A pencil only adds to the garbage in my life. Unless it's an amazing pencil.
Yeah.
If it's an amazing pencil, I'm going to remember it. And we are so torn to that we have to have our name on something for people to enjoy it, and you don't. That people will remember it more if it doesn't have a logo on it. So if we had a cool person lunch where the theme was travel. So I brought an enormous amount of stickers, and to you quote Donna, use your stickers, they lose their sticky. That I had this enormous amount of stickers, and people are like, well, how many? And I'm like, look, all of these stickers are for you. There were hundreds of stickers, and they were from different places that people had traveled, or places that they wanted to travel. And they were like, I can take all of these? Yes, take them all. These are all for you. They were purchased for this lunch. So, and look, there's her sticker. Use it. Danny's showing us her sticker right now, right? That use that. And what they will always remember is that they could get all of those stickers. That was worth more than any piece of pen I could give somebody, right? So don't be afraid to be 100% playful and fun for that reason. That yes, you want your card in there. Yes, you want them to remember that. But what they will always remember is that they were standing there and somebody gave them $25. They will remember that. So there is, Danny went to school at a private Catholic school, and they have every February a huge party. Danny, do you remember that event? Do they still have it at St. Charles?
No, nobody wanted to run Mardi Gras anymore.
Yes.
But they had some of the coolest things. So, the big thing for the kids was we had a fake jail. So you could put somebody in jail. There was like a country store, but they had an auction where they brought in an actual auctioneer.
Yeah.
And the parishioners would donate these fabulous things. And some of the fabulous things were like, I have an indoor pool at my house. You can host your child's birthday party at my indoor pool.
Right. So you
Um,
can have a huge pool party or something, right?
and now they do a silent auction, in honor of my friend that passed away, to raise money for Make-A-Wish. And some of the really cool things in the silent auction are like, here's my family's cabin. Guess what? It has Wi-Fi and a pool. And you
Right.
can stay for a weekend.
So,
Those were some of the biggest things. Like,
yeah,
I still have classmates that are like, I have this jersey and I got it at Mardi Gras this year. And it's like a from the Miracle Team 1980 Olympic gold medalist men's hockey team. It's all signed by them, and like that's super awesome.
yeah.
But part of
So,
it is that, it's I got it at Mardi Gras at St. Charles.
right. And so that part for Mardi Gras was to raise money for tuitions, right? They had to be able to run the school. So sometimes when you look at that part of how do we have a huge party to raise an enormous amount of money? And how do we bring people into the parish in ways that are getting the community to support, that there's a different way to do that. So as soon as they had that, and then they had built all that goodwill, that they will remember that. I will tell you that the year my son won a toaster, he got a toaster as a prize, and he got like he had, I think there were several kitchen appliances that he won at auction as a 9-year-old. And he will still, he's still carrying a toaster in his backpack right now because that he makes toast everywhere. But that we remember it. So like Sandy giving the example of you standing outside, right, giving away something. Even if they don't remember that that's your name, they will remember energetically that I spun this thing here and I got this prize and that felt good to me. Oh, and there she is, right? So if they see you at the grocery store or they see you somewhere else, the more you do those activities, that energy is attached to you. And that's the building block of love anyway, right? And it was in your budget. It's in your budget. So you are looking at, again, things that make you have that fire energy, that bring that mojo, and sustaining that passion for long-term growth means you have to date your business. You have to fall in love with it. You have to bring that renewed love. So not only do you have to maintain the love that you have for it, which is sometimes as simple as gratitude, but it's bringing that renewed love. And renewed love is when other people love it too. You will love something more if someone else loves it with you. So sometimes, if any of you have ever been in my office, that I've had offices all over the city in the last 25 years, and some of them have been, and each one is uniquely different. So people will go back and go, oh, I loved that purple office, or I loved this office. That you will find this consistent, renewed love affair. You also want to have habits that promote that growth and that promote your professional growth. You have to get smarter. Remember, staying the same is comfortable, but it costs you everything. And what we talked about in costing everything is that if you look at your life in 3 years, it would have cost you every new relationship. It would have cost you every new opportunity. It would have cost you every new thing that was available. Staying the same, most people have an incorrect paradigm that staying the same is comfortable and it just keeps me even. That's not true. Staying the same costs you everything. It costs you every new relationship, every new opportunity, every new project. It costs you everything. And it costs you every magnifying point from that new relationship. So today, right, Sandy's looking for pie day. Great. It's the busiest pizza day ever. Let me get you a pizza maker. All right. Let me find you a pizza maker. Let's get you a pizza. So there it is, right? That you need every piece of how are you going to have that routine? How are you going to maintain a renewed love affair? How are you going to find new resources? And how are you going to build those habits? Because it's action. It's action. Where, right, motion is lotion, right? That we have to have constant lotioning in our joints to keep moving. And it's revisiting and adjusting your game plan. We have to, it has to be different because you're different and you're growing every single year. The strategy that I often talk about is taking the time to dream. You have to write those ideas down in a vision that can be directed. And the as if model I use a lot. As if. I have to act as if I am that. So the woman who's creating as a high priestess, she's acting as if she is a high priestess. She's going to create from that perspective. Sometimes I have to think about myself as if, what would it be like if I actually were a real estate developer? Let me see what that looked like. Well, it looked like last year that I went in with a bunch of people and went to say, I need it to look like I need the money back in a year. So I didn't need a long-term investment. I needed a short-term investment. So I went in with 20 other people and we bought a property in Florida and then we flipped it. So made my money back. Great. What did that feel like? What can I start out with? I could have started out with just 10,000. And I didn't even, I had the 10,000, but I just ended up needing to use it as a line of credit. I only needed to put 10,000 and use it for a year. I didn't even have to use my money. I could just use the bank's money. So sometimes it's as if, what can that look like? So the new project, for those of you who are the 12-week year, you are knowing that we have a new dollhouse and we've got an inn that we are creating that's also building a prosperity model. So that inn is in Peterson, Minnesota, right? What does that look like? What's my 3-year plan? What if I wanted to have an inn? What if I wanted to teach my kids how to be an innkeeper? So when you're looking at those daring to dream, it's just try it on. Just try it on. And sometimes it's planting the seed for, I'm going to have an opening. I'm going to have this event. I'm going to have this thing. So just try on the vision and then do the as if. Let me feel that as if I were that right now. As what would that feel like to me? And sometimes things are as if repulsive. That's a great indicator. You're in the wrong dream. So when you're thinking about those, I would start to do them again in those 3-year plans. 3 years is really that 36-month We've learned it from Rich Chicks since 1999. That is what Rich Chicks was built on, is a 3-year time span, that it takes 3 years to take an idea and get it forward. So those 3-year goals are pivotal, because year 1 in a new idea is you shake your money maker. Year 2 is you shake your money maker a little more and put some infrastructure in there. Year 3 is when you really look at it in the eye and go, are you what I wanted? And we see that 3-year cycle happen a lot in new ideas in business. So fall in love with the 36-month timeline. Fall in love with it in your money, in your career, in your personal growth, right? You can't just learn something in 1 year. You have to go, what would it look like if I fell in love with learning to surf for 3 years? Now you have enough time to do other conversations in your mind around it. So you can build a different love affair. Same with education, same with travel, same with relationships. What can we do in the next 3 years? It's easy to try to pack everything into that first year, and you want to shake your moneymaker, but you'll actually have a lot more success if you open your timeline to that 3-year time span. So the strategy again is mindful isolation, is journaling with questions that are very unique. We gave you the question earlier today around loving and losing, only being 1 letter apart, and then you have 2 conversations, right? Loving and losing are only 1 letter apart, but they have very different paths. When you think about loving in your business, what does it look like? That's 1 journal entry. That's journaling with mindful isolation questions, things that I am just alone with, and I am looking at that uniquely. What am I loving from my business? Or what has been lost in my business? So those are 2 different questions. They each get 20 minutes, and it's only about 20 minutes. I call them little popsicles of joy, because a lot of times in 20 minutes, it's a stunner. It's a stunner. I can't believe how many times just 20 minutes will solve something or give me a new perspective, because that's all your mind is that fast. And some of you actually will get it like zip, zip, zip. It'll pop in quickly. So sometimes some of you just need to think about journaling and the answer will come. Some of you will just start coloring and then you'll start to get words. But that 20 minutes is really just look for the popsicle of joy, because a good popsicle should take you less than, it should take you a little time to eat it. When we look at other strategies, it is understanding reward. Reward is only a reward if it has meaning and context. So reframing is often about reward. Many people are looking at things and they feel that they don't have a reward, and it's because they have framed the reward as not being exciting enough. So we talked about that in commission sales. There used to be a time when you thought, oh, I'm going to make $600 off of this. And then when you got good at making $600, then it was $1,200, and then it was this. And then for some of you who have big ticket items, it's not good unless you're making $16,000. So you start to look at, that doesn't feel like a reward, but it is reframing it. So I just reframed the one I had the other day, which is that I have a car payment of a very fancy car. So I just had an extra $150. So I just went and threw it into savings. It's really easy to go, let me throw that 150 in. Yeah, task list, check, check. It didn't actually emotionally reward me in the same way as me going, yep, I banked 30% of my car payment. There you go. Now I have a backup fund, that having a reassurance that if times are tight, that I have a way to make 30% of my car payment, that feels a lot more rewarding than just going, I popped 150 into the bank. So you have to start learning to reframe about why this is filled with juicy goodness for yourself. And that juicy goodness might be, that's the juicy goodness is also what redoing your closet is about. that juicy goodness is also why everybody loves decluttering, because you get this new kind of reframed reward. So remember, a reward is only a reward if it has meaning and context. So the meaning for me is that I want a fancy car. And the context is that now I have enough money to have an extra car payment. And for me, that's the reassurance that if I have a slow month, I have 30% of that car payment already made. Or that I have this many house payments pre-made, or whatever that is. Savings for people, when they understand what that savings buys them or what it's holding for them, is a lot more meaningful and gives them a lot more reward. So when they say you have to 6 months in your savings account, well, what is that number? What is that? I remember saying to my husband, look, we have this much of our lives prepaid right now. Like, take the risk. We can take the weekend. We can go do something. Like, I'm not going to not do, because we have this strategy. This is the reward I wanted. So sometimes it is that we feel like we can't do something, but when we open it up and really look at it in the reward section, you actually can. You actually can. So think about that. The other strategy that I have for you is the who, not how. Some of you have taken the how journal. And when we talk about the how journal, it is very different than the who part. And the who part is often part of the how. So who is when you're starting to build a vision and you're going, oh my gosh, how am I going to get all that done? How am I remember saying, how am I going to live with 30 days of travel, or 60 days or 90 days, that I take 12 weeks off in a year? That's crazy. That's crazy. And I remember going, oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? But when I started putting in the who elements, it got to be a lot easier. So who can help me write this book? Who can help me find a print partner? Who can help me book my appointments? Who can help me set up this time? Who can help me? Who can let me stay at their house for free? Right? Who do I like enough to go stay at their, who has a villa? Right? That who has a villa? And so as soon as I started asking who, now I have a little list of peeps who will let me stay in their little bungalow. So, right, how can I get more bungalow friends? Right? Who has bungalow? And I was sitting with two of those friends, and they were kind of mad at each other because they each had extra houses. And they're like, well, you're staying at her house for a whole month. And I was like, well, I didn't know that you would let me stay at your house for a whole month. I'm like, I love Arizona. I'll go stay at your other house. So it is to look at that strategy. Be fun. Fall in love with what you're creating. Fall in love with what you're creating. And I will tell you that and create openly. When we look at Sandy Cleland, who's going out on that trip, that inspiration for her came from that 30 days away. So when she turned 50, and she and I had a conversation before she did that, she's like, I find what you're doing, the 30 days away, so inspiring. I need to do that. So she could look at what I was doing, and then she made it into something that she was doing. And then she started looking at all the other things that were around that. So you are inspiring people to do great things in their own way by just doing the work that you're doing. But that leader of Win and I have had a lot of conversations. Teresa and I have had a lot of conversations over the years of how to do things, and things that she didn't agree with 15 years ago, she now can accept because she just wasn't old enough to get it. That the way that I had done business 15 years ago, she couldn't even conceptualize. And now she's fully in it, that she understands the value of relationships as relationships. And not that it always has to have this BNI outcome of I have to sell you something, sell you something, sell you something. So when you're looking at your strategy, I would look at that who is there? Who are the important people that you need in your life to help you fall in love with what you're doing? Again, I just put it in a different format, but you're gonna have to define those goals. And again, if you're starting, this is the same set of words in a different formation. The other way I showed it to you as the task first. This shows it as an outcome first. So the task, right? The task is managing managing your database. If you're looking for one thing to go home with today in what will bring you more reward, it is your database. The database is everything. If you don't have a database yet, start building it. What are my top 10 people? Who is around there? Start figuring out who's on your team, because you need them. You need new customers, but you also need to know how to do billing, right? So decide what are the things that you are going to do. I remind everyone, right? You are prosperity mindset. We all have the ability. We all have the ability to utilize non-material energy to create things in the material world. And what that means, and how you hear it from me easier, is we think and then we build. We think and then we build. We animate from being able to anticipate. We characterize and then we convert. So when you're starting to look at that, you are a prosperity mindset, and that is what makes you able to create. That it all starts in you. In you. Okay, we had a lot to go over. Welcome, Janet Mills. We're glad you're here. We are glad you're here. Do you want to give us a quick hi so we can hear your beautiful voice?
Oh, if I could sing, then I would do that.
Oh,
If I were Lizzo, watch out.
oh, I would love it.
She's
I
my
would love
favorite.
it.
Hey, Karen.
Right.
Hi.
Okay. Do you have any updates?
Probably I'm in the zone of listening to your slides. Nice
Okay.
haircut. Did you get your
Thank
haircut?
you. I got
I
it.
was just kind of in the zone of absorbing.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a breath, and then I'll start with Sandy. Sandy, what's your takeaway?
Well, I really loved it. And I had a lot of thoughts during this. I mean, first of all, a lot of the things that you're talking about bringing new love and new excitement, doing things differently. So I have been doing that for the last couple of years. And like, why didn't I do this before? Because I really like it. It's my jam. It's like, it feels really natural. And then I look back to like when I was in the recession, and, I could have been doing buyer classes back then. Like, why wasn't I? Because I didn't know what to do. I mean, it was just like impossible. I knew I didn't want to specialize in foreclosures. I knew I didn't want to specialize in short sales, and I didn't. But I worked with, just other. Anyway, but I was constantly trying to get business. Like I was always emailing people and calling people, but I don't know. There's a lot of things I would have done differently during the recession. Now, maybe I think it went on for so long that it just crushed, it just crushed me. But yeah, there's other things I could be doing. Also, there's two people in particular that I want to be able to watch this program from today. And one of them is a woman who, she wanted to come I invited her. She wanted to come today, but she had a conflict. So she's going to try to come next month.
Right? Send it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the other one is, well, anyways, I've got two people that I would love to be able to share this with. So, if you can let me know how to.
Karen will send it out. All of them are on YouTube. So if
Okay.
you go back to the ones that were your favorite, they're still here.
Okay.
They
So
are
they
still
can
here.
see them on YouTube.
Yep. And the other thing that's fun about the YouTube is I have gone back to ones that I've taught in the past and went, oh, wow, I'm going to have to remember that. I've forgotten it.
Yeah.
That it's so easy for it to just fly away.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and this class particularly, you know, it takes me a while to write the class and to put it together and to get it all there. And this one took me, I was telling Donna that I had to come at it 3 or 4 times to really get it there. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and so one of the things that I'm gonna do going forward is I just have to figure out the delegating and taking the time to teach the new person how to do stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I don't like to take that time. It's like, oh, if they don't get it, I just kind of like, I'll just do it myself. But I gotta take
Right.
that. Yeah.
And that's that pink door, right?
Mhm.
Let's get them in the love door.
Mhm.
Just let's just pink door it. We're just gonna get them into the love door. Let's walk it through. Let's get you where you gotta go. It's beautiful in there. It's beautiful in there. It's an oasis. So I'll take all the time that you need to get you into the pink door. Cause I'm gonna close that door. I'm gonna go back to my life. Yeah, that's very good. Donna, what's your takeaway today?
Well, I am going to, I'm reframing instead of just being so far behind on all my dreams and goals, I'm just starting afresh with a new 3-year cycle. So that's, you know, that's that's a really different way to look at it instead of just being like all those wasted years for whatever reason. It's like, oh no, here we go. And I just love, it's kind of like we all know you know, a couple who redos their vows. It's a celebration. It is the most beautiful thing. So me saying, okay, um let's reconnect. It's a celebration. So, and a 3-year model could be, how could I, a goal could be like, I designed the soccer birds to just to be sold at some point. So how could I sell this in 3 years could be the goal. That type of thing. I do put in the chat all this talk of fire. Check out Carlos Diaz Ensemble on YouTube. We have a
Oh,
fun song
yes.
called Bonfire, and like I even had some of the you mirrored some of the lyrics, so really fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also put that in 12-week year. I mean,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
give it
okay.
to all of your peeps. Yeah, we love
Yes,
that.
exactly. And then just I love the hashtag stuff. Instead of making a mission statement, like, no, Nido Tree is just a hashtag. Let's like I don't like make that. I get hung up on some of that business language, and it's like to call it a hashtag. And a long time ago, I did ask the question, what is my Nido Tree business dress code? And it involves blue jeans and hoodies. And so I need to go through my closet and be like, get out. Anything that isn't a Nido Tree dress code needs to leave. Oh, and the pink door, grown men's soccer is out the door. It's all about women's soccer and the kids. So it's like, you guys, you're not, yeah. I'm as not interested in you as you are not interested in me. So goodbye. Have fun.
Right. Have a great, go through the pink door.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. Well, good
So
job. Good job.
really just the title of this day has been just thrilling for me to be like, oh yay, I'm gonna fall back in love.
Yes, yes. And it's going to be 50 degrees out today. So it's a great day to fall in love.
Yes.
It's a great day to fall in love. Danny, what's your takeaway?
I forget about hashtags, which is really weird for a millennial to say, I know. But when they started, I hated them.
Me too.
So remembering that like a hashtag is useful. And so my store has a name. It's the Misfit Craft Company.
Perfect.
And using the hashtag Misfit Crafts as a way to show maybe not perfect work. Or a video of like, because I'm on TikTok a lot. I do Instagram and TikTok. Facebook is sort of we're just gonna leave that over there and talk to people through Messenger instead.
Yes.
And I don't do, what is it, X or Twitter? No,
No.
no, that's garbage.
Yeah.
And doing a video of, hey, I got this misfit craft stuff. Let's do something with it. And just sort of remembering that a hashtag is a tool and not an annoyance.
Right.
Which is kind of hard because I have an 11-year-old. Yeah. And then I realized I had a prize that is just the most delicious and I needed to share.
Oh, good.
So I'm a sticker person. Stickers everywhere. And I belong to a sticker club where once a year or every month they send you something. But I got this for Christmas. This is my sticker binder.
Oh, yes, you need a sticker binder.
And yes, it has the logo of my favorite sticker company, but it's so much cooler than that because the stickers I don't want to stick can fit in here. And then it
Oh,
has little categories like Soap Honey where you can stick your stickers. But if I decide I want to put it on my water bottle, I can peel it off and stick it on.
so good. Yes.
So delicious.
And that's a win right there.
Like this is my favorite prize.
Yeah. A
It has
sticker
my
binder.
favorite tab, which is the not HR approved stickers.
It's very good.
And
It's
let me
very-
tell you, as someone who has HR in the house, these stickers are not approved.
Yes, yes, you do have HR in the house.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's some stickers in my collection where my mom is like, why do you have that?
It's great. It's great.
But then I have my stickers, stickers are my favorite prize because you can stick them everywhere.
Everything, everywhere.
Um,
Water bottle of food.
Como Zoo is highly represented in my life.
Right, right. Well, good, good. I love it.
So if you're looking for a prize, stickers are always a win. But if you really want to get the people that purchase stickers, I would look into a sticker book.
Sticker binder. I love it. I love it. Janet Mills, you came in late, but were you able to take anything away from the time that you were here? She's looking for that. It's almost there. She's getting to it. She's finding how. It's been so long. We don't know how to do it. You will unmute.
It slid over off the screen. I didn't know that was possible.
Right.
Mute button got away from me. Oh, off the. Well, last time, yeah, no, well, okay. It's like all still swirling in my mind. But the thing I woke up with today was, what do you want to accomplish? So like getting done what you really want to accomplish each day, because the other things that you have to do will push aside your business goals. And then last time you said something about reaching 10 new business contacts a day, and someone had told you 10, I could do 20. I'm kind of guessing that was BJ Smith.
It was VJ Smith, yes.
Yeah. And so I did not, while we were talking, I wrote ways to reach out that weren't, but from last time, I started people, I'm like, oh, I don't know anybody. And then I started every day, I think of somebody who I'd forgotten, who I really think I like. And I just sent either a text or call or somehow, and just that bing. And that's been really rewarding because I care about those people. So
That's brilliant. That'll be incorporated in something.
yeah. There's
That's
a little
great.
more
Well,
to it, but yeah. Okay.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, thanks.
Karen Carson, before we go, give us, do you have any takeaways?
I'm looking for the pink door.
Whoop, sorry, we can't. All right, say it again.
Uh, I had to use my phone for the sound.
Oh,
So
got
I'm
it.
looking for the pink door.
You're looking for the pink door? What's going out? Yeah,
I'm lining that up.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Well, one, thank you for coming here. You are my business plan. I do love seeing you every time. I'm glad that you're showing up. I'm glad that you're showing out. For those of you who are in 12-week year, I'm glad that you're enjoying that group. It's really, it changes all the time. I always want to invite people who are watching. A lot of people watch these afterwards. So thank you for showing up and asking great questions, because they do inspire other people. And so even though we're here to have our little love session, right, our little love session, I'm gonna do, yeah, but we're gonna love on everybody that comes in and watches, and it's just fun. It's fun to be here with you. So have a great day. The big concept again is unity. That is your prosperity concept to take away with you, is understanding unity, is that commingling. It is the piece that you need before you are manifesting. You have to, in order to manifest, you have to build that unity. And unity, right? Prosperity is the ability to magnify. Lots of things can magnify. They can be not great and great, right? Because the ability to magnify, we are looking from a prosperity mindset where we really think about it, that we really automatically take actions based on what our values are, and that we magnify from that point. And that is how we magnify from good, clean energy. And in order to do that, we have to have unity with some of the things that are really important to us. And that unity is that we have to commingle. We have to meld. It has to be all smooshed together. And that unity is what is the precursor to all of your manifestation. So you have to be with it. You have to be unified. It has to be part of you. And there's the heart. There it is from Karen. It has to be at the very beginning. And if it's a love affair for you, then you'll magnify from a love affair. And you know it when somebody's in love with something, right? We all know when someone's in love with it. And that is what you're looking for. So if you want to magnify from that love point, you have to have unity. And that is, gosh, why there wouldn't be a better way to do it. There's just not a better way to go about the world than just loving it. So have a safe trip, Sandy. We do, I won't get to see you while you're there, but post. We love to see it. Karen, we were glad to see that you are alive and well. It made everyone feel good to see your face. Danny, we've missed you horribly. Janet, we're glad you came in. And Donna, I mean, come on, it's adorable.
This is thanks for this, Mickey.
You're welcome. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.